Hello and welcome to video 3. I hope you've enjoyed the previous 2 videos. In those videos I've shared with you how to understand what you're doing wrong with your dog. We talked about training tools, we talked about how to create your dog's baseline, and I outlined my blueprint for your next 60 days. Let me share with you a few case studies for how this training comes together. You see, it's one thing for me to share with you what to do, it's another to see how others just like you have done it. You see, we recently decided to film the entire case studies of 3 dog owners. We selected these cases very carefully so they would represent just about any problem a dog owner could be dealing with. Number 1 was Travis and Slugger. He started as a 5-month-old bulldog who had potty accidents, jumped on people, would stubbornly ignore commands, chewed, humped, wouldn't come when called, pulled on the leash, and so on. Number 2 was Jordan and Panda. Panda was a 2-year-old mix with a bite history, having attacked and bitten both people and dogs. She flipped out at the mere sound of the doorbell, pulled on the leash, couldn't be taken outside the house due to aggression, and the family couldn't invite people over due to fear of what Panda would do. And number 3 was Rachel and Zoe. Zoe was a 2-year-old dog who had been purchased as a pup with hopes of becoming a service dog, but during her first 2 years she had developed anxiety issues. The anxiety had turned to aggression problems. In addition, she'd always try to run out the front door, she'd pull on the leash, jump on people, lunge and bark at people, and more. So how did things go? The interesting thing was that during the 60 days there were different aspects with each dog that made the biggest differences in their progress. Let me tell you about that with the hope that you'll see aspects of your dog and what these dogs learned. For young Slugger, his biggest problem was his ability to focus. As a 5-month-old dog, most struggle with focus, as you might know. They lose self-control and want to pee here, jump on something there, pull on the leash, and simply do what he or she wants. So how do we create focus? A few key things. Pay close attention. In week 1, we taught him our crazy man method for leash walking. Now this is a method where we do a lot of directional changes while we're walking on the leash. This is one of the most powerful things you can do for a dog who lacks focus. It sounds simple, but it's very, very powerful. In week 3, we taught him a strong recall. Recall meaning to come when called. Dogs must pay attention if they're going to actually come when called. If your dog struggles to pay attention, this should be one of the first things that you start to teach. These items, combined with teaching him calming exercises like place and proper crate and food manners, and this guy was good to go. In a second, I'm going to share with you how you can actually see everything we did with Slugger, but listen to his owner tell his story.
So the funny backstory, we had worked with Ty before on a previous bulldog and had a fantastic experience. And when it came to buying another one, my wife, not being she's not an animal person. And so we knew going into this that we needed a dog that was going to be really what was going to be ideal for our family. Right, a dog that was obedient, a dog that was fun for the kids, but not too much of an overburden for my wife. And so it was a no-brainer for us when it came down to being able to work with Ty because we had seen it before. Now we had not. Our last dog Ty worked with, and he was about 2 years old. We had never. So starting working with a new dog as a puppy was new for us. So the day that we actually got the dog, I called Ty and I said, "Hey, how soon can we start? Can we start now?" And the dog was 7 weeks old. And so all he said was, "Put that thing on a leash and we'll see you in 4 or 5 months." And so in those first 4 or 5 months, they were a pain. We didn't know what to expect. Slugger's always been pretty well-mannered, but extremely dominant, a bit overbearing at times. He had some issues with biting. He was tough on our kids, had some aggression issues. And so when we jumped into this, we just decided, hey, we're going at this full bore. And that's the one thing that I've seen is with Ty's techniques and the strategies that he teaches you is if you put them into play, if you actually do it, then the transformation is going to happen. If not, then it's not. But as you can see here, this guy would have never sat and done this, 60 days ago. And now it's we walk around everywhere we go. Slugger's the the model citizen, and we owe all that to Ty, to being able to help us overcome challenges, making it simple, right? Instead of 50 different things to do, here's a handful of things to do. Here's how you do them. And in the end, that's made myself happier, that's made my kids happier, my wife happier, and I think overall he's happier as well, because now he has some structure to his life as well. So anybody considering working with Ty in any way, shape, or form, do it. Make it happen.
Now, Panda was a dog whose life was wrapped up in fear and anxiety. Every person, every dog, every new experience was a cause for concern, fear, and aggression. When dogs experience such fear, it's due to an inability to rationally think through a fear trigger. In other words, her mind is so wrapped up in chaos, she simply reacts rather than thinks. So how do you calm a dog's mind down and get them to think? We did it through leadership. Previously, when the doorbell rang, she would get so stressed she would rely on her own chaos. We taught her instead to lie down and stay. Previously, when she saw a new person on a walk, she would lunge and bark aggressively. We taught her to walk properly so that she couldn't do that. The more she listened to her owner instead of her own mind, the more she looked to him as a leader. The more she looked to him as a leader, the more she calmed down. I'm going to show you exactly how to see what we did with Panda, but first, see her owner's story.
Alright, so before we started this training, I couldn't have anyone over at the house because she would try to attack them. People were scared to come to our door, and any dog that she saw or smelled, she would try to tear their throat out. It's going to be a lot harder. I thought that, he was going to make it a lot tougher and way more commands and just a lot more work, but really it was probably one of the easiest things I've done. And now she plays with other dogs, and it's great. We can have people over at the house that she's never met. She's completely fine with them.
And finally, we come to Zoe. She was so much like Panda with her inability to think through her problems. In doing the same thing we did with Panda, we found, though, that she stopped having problems and stress altogether. Listen to her owner's story.
Okay, so we have just finished up, and this has been the most amazing experience. Before we started, we were actually sadly thinking about having to sell our dog Zoe. We had purchased her initially as a service dog, and she had behaviors that we didn't think we would be able to overcome. We were worried that she just wouldn't be able to fulfill the calling that we needed her for. And so then I heard about Ty's program, and I begged and pleaded that he let me be in his program, and I'm so grateful that he did allow me to be in his program, because we have a completely different dog, and the relationship that we have now is incredible. The bond that we have, the things that she's been able to do, I never dreamed, I never thought that she would be able to overcome some of these behaviors of hers. I take her out and about, and people that knew her before this program have come up and commented that they cannot believe the dog, that she is a completely different dog. I'm excited, I'm happy, I'm pleased. I will not have a dog ever again that's not up to this caliber of training. The difference is just phenomenal. We have another dog that's older, and I always thought she was well behaved because she doesn't bite, she doesn't bark, she doesn't mess in the house, she didn't chew on things, she didn't pull on the leash, and so I always thought, well, yeah, she's a great, well-behaved, trained dog. Now that I have the difference and I can see the difference, she's a good dog, but she is not a well-behaved, she is not a well-trained dog. And like I said, I won't have a dog that's not up to this training level ever again, because it has made such a big difference, not just in our relationship, but also in the relationship with our dog with other people, and our dog with my kids, her safety, just being able to, there's already actually been a couple of experiences that we've had with her that in the past probably would have put her in great danger, but because I was able to hurry and put her in a down or tell her to wait, she didn't get hurt. Like one instance, we were outside and we were getting ready to cross the street, and my kids weren't paying attention, and they started to cross the street and yelled out, "Wait!" She immediately goes into a wait, and it also caught the kids they looked, so in a sense it kind of both. But in the past, she would have continued, she would have darted out into traffic, she wouldn't have paid attention. So there have been a couple of instances like that. I can't sing enough praises for Ty and his program. Like I said, I'm going to keep doing this with my dog and every other dog that we get in the future, just because it has just made such a difference. And I hope and encourage that other people would do the same, because we need actually more well-behaved and more well-trained dogs.
Now let me tell you how you can watch in on how exactly we solve these dogs' problems and how you can do the same for your dog. I filmed every single week of our training. In filming the progress, I showed step by step how to do every single piece of the training. I showed how we were able to overcome every aggressive tendency, destruction problem, obedience issue, jumping, barking, and house training issue. We edited it, added some fun music, took out all the boring stuff, hopefully, and what we were left with was a complete A to Z, step-by-step blueprint for how to completely transform your dog in 60 days. What we have now is a 9-DVD set. It's designed for you to watch one DVD every week, put what you learned to practice during that week, move on to the next DVD, and watch how your dog quickly and completely transforms. Your dog's transformation is guaranteed. I know a lot of folks get worried about what if it doesn't work for me? I'm so confident that it will work wonders for you and your dog that I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. Get my program, test it out, try it, kick the tires, work with your dog, don't kick your dog. If it's not working for your dog, send it back within 45 days and get a complete and full refund. No questions asked. Nobody in dog training is offering anything like that. No one can. But I know my methods are going to work for you and your dog, so I have no problem offering this guarantee. The bottom line is that I don't want to take anyone's money if I can't help them and their dog. Now, I've been in business for years, so I need to tell you one thing. It's not uncommon that someone contacts us at some point looking for help with their dog. But for reasons of time, finances, or simply forgetfulness, they don't always follow through. It's not uncommon that a month or two, and sometimes even a year or more, those same dog owners get back in touch because they're still having the same problems. Only more often than not, the problems are now worse. So I want to create an incentive so that you act soon if you feel this may be the right program for you. So I've added a few bonuses that I think you're going to like a lot. But these bonuses are only good for the next week. Bonus number 1. After investing in the DVDs, you'll immediately be taken to a page where you can create a membership and immediately start training. What that means to you is that you'll have your physical copy in a short time arriving in the mail, but you'll be able to start training right away, even at 2 in the morning. Years ago, I used to only do an online portion of my training, and I sold that piece alone for $147 a year. This is a big value, and you'll have this online access for the life of your dog. Bonus number 2, I'm going to send you my dog training audiobook. This is a 3-CD set of my award-winning methods. Some people like to listen in the car or while they work out. It's an enormous compliment to your transformation program. I took this off the market so I could offer it as a bonus, but I used to sell this for $97 just by itself. And bonus number 3, my ebook collection. Before I ever got into video training, I wrote several ebooks about dog aggression, puppy training, barking, house training, and more. I've since taken them off the market so I can use them as a bonus, but I used to sell these for $97 by themselves. Our Transform Your Dog in 60 Days is a program that we charge $1,500 to $3,500 for when we teach it to clients one-on-one here at our training center in Utah. So when you combine $1,500 worth of dog training with $341 worth of bonuses, I'm super excited that we were able to offer such value to dog owners around the world at such a discounted rate through our home study program. Today and for a limited time, your investment is only $197. So for only about 10% of what you'd normally pay for this information, you can quickly get this information rushed to you and start transforming your dog. And for a limited time, while my time can handle it, I want to give you another bonus. We've got a lot of trainers on staff to help dog owners through their issues, but while my time allows, I'll personally answer whatever dog training questions you may have once you invest in my Transform Your Dog in 60 Days program. The bottom line is that with my guarantee, I've taken all the risk on me. In addition, once you invest in the program, you'll find the rules for our $5,000 challenge. The gist of it is, document your progress and show a big transformation, and the judges will choose the person in 2015 who makes the biggest transformation with their dog. Will it be you? Now is the moment to decide whether it's finally time to help your dog become the family member he or she is capable of becoming. Simply click the link below and start your dog's transformation. I look forward to seeing what you can do.